Hi Duda, good morning. Zane, good morning Zane. El, awesome. Just wait for... Hi Chris, Dale, good morning. Emily, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Mestre Murilo.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, it's just freezing a little bit. Ah, yeah, now I can see you.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Yeah, Mestre Murilo, how you doing? How are you coping with this quarantine back in Brazil?
We are in lockdown. Inside home. I live in Rio de Janeiro. Uh, doing my best to help my students with a lot of uh, online, uh, you know, uh, teaching online the most we can, using the Instagram platform, using the Zoom platform to reach the students to make them work. We cannot, I closed my academy. It was March 16. Since then, I have been working online a lot to provide, uh, material for people, training, the teaching online. So
Mhm.
we're doing our best, to keep running the the business and keep helping people to move the bodies and training. So, but this is a situation in Brazil. We don't know when it's gonna reopen the doors. So we're doing our part,
Mm.
staying home. Academies closed, a lot of business closed. Uh, but the situation here, we don't know how it's gonna be. Gonna take longer to reopen. Maybe next month, maybe July. We don't know the situation here. We don't know. Kind of,
Mhm.
you know, uh, we share. We kind of, the COVID-19 pass faster possible, but we don't have a kind of idea how it's gonna be in the near future. So I have to just wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has been a tough one. Yeah, Master. Our connection comes from. So one of my coach and good friends is Paulito, no, and Paulito, on the early 2000. It's freezing a little bit. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, good a little bit.
Can you hear me, Master?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yeah. So the early 2000, also Paulito from Araçatuba, so we had the honor to be able to open the first Brazilian top team outside of Rio, with Paulito, and we were super excited when Paulito used to train with you, and coming back, and giving all the techniques, and yeah, for us was such a important moment. Yeah, so just thank you for the opportunity again, to being talked to me today. And I would like to, have you been to New Zealand before, Messi?
Just passing by, pass through going to Australia. I have been, making connection in the Auckland a couple times, but just a few hours. I never been really, never. I don't know the island, the country. I mean, so I know this is
Mm,
beautiful. Uh, Passing, by plane. There's a lot of natural beaches are beautiful and everything
Mm-hmm.
looks very great country, but I never been there. So
Yeah, we need to organize a seminar so you can catch some waves in Raglan.
yeah, man, it would be awesome. The place looks to be very very nice. I heard a lot of good things about the waves and the country. There is snow as well, right? Skiing.
Yes. Yeah. So Mestre, let's talk a little bit about about your story. So even talk about the surfing. So how did you change? How was your transition of being so passionate about surfing? So that was one of your first sports and one of the things you was dreaming about it to become a professional. So how was this transition of being a surfer and change to become a fighter? A fighter.
I'm born and raised close to the beach in Rio. The name is Poador, and all my brothers and my older brothers already, they used to surf. My friends used to surf, and I got a contact with surf pretty early. I was about around 9 to 10 years old, and then I started surfing every day. And a little bit late, but kind of 1 year late, I started training jiu-jitsu. So I kind of follow the path of my elder brothers, and then I went to the Carson Academy when I was a kid, and I used to be there, kind of running around, messing around, and I feel comfortable on the mat. And then later I started training jiu-jitsu from 10 to 11 years old. And but at the time I was more a surfer than a jiu-jitsu player. Kind of concerned more about surfing. Uh, but I attend classes of jiu-jitsu, but not that often. So thinking longer when I was a teenager, I kind of got more connected with jiu-jitsu. I moved from a place, a neighborhood that was closer, that academy than the beach. I moved from, my old house that was closer off the beach. And then the academy was closer. Then I started training more. And then I started to compete. And then when I started to compete, I
Mm-hmm.
kind of find myself. I found myself, and it was awesome. It was because I used to compete in surf amateur competitions, and it was a little bit hard for me because not depending only of your skills. Surfing contest depends as well of the waves and not only about yourself, something else. And when I started to compete in jiu-jitsu, I kind of you know found myself because it's only about me and my opponent. So then it was, I feel more, uh, how can I say, I could, uh, I adapt myself better. I can tell that, it was only about myself. So if I did my best and I was better than my opponent, I would win. If not, I would lose. So it's something simple. It's not only depend to get lucky and catch the best wave and, depend, which one was the lucky one to get the best wave in the competition. So, and then from there, from teenager to now, I got addicted with jiu-jitsu. I never quit. So I was, I compete straight from probably 15 to 45 years old, and when I got retired, and since then I keep working, training, helping my students, but nowadays I'm not competing anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And Messi, how do you remember how was your first class, your first jiu-jitsu class? Was it straight with Messi Carson Gracie?
Man, it's too long. It was long time ago, and I don't remember that much. It was for more than 40 years ago. I don't know if it was Carson that
Wow.
taught me the first class or was the my old coach, because Carson has some coaches, some instructors teaching his academy, some good instructors, black belts, and the name of my instructor, my first instructor in Carson was Carlos Alberto, and I don't remember the first class at all. I remember,
Uh-huh.
I remember the classes, a lot of self-defense, some jiu-jitsu sparring, but I can't remember that much.
Uh-huh. And so Mestre, what's a class with you looks like? So how do you like to instruct your class?
What do you mean?
The when you
Drills?
teach a class, a jiu-jitsu class, what's your so how do you like to to work in one technique for weeks, or no ever class you like to approach in a different technique? So how's your philosophy when you teaching the class?
So depend of the level, if the beginners or, so I kind of prepared the curriculum of the week and the month. So I follow my curriculum, So and I for beginners, I teach beginners position, so advanced. So depending of the level, I kind of had I used to write down everything you're gonna do during the week and post, you know, on the wall of the academy to people know how you're gonna work. But
Mm-hmm.
depending what happens during the class, I can change the schedule a little bit. So if I schedule to teach something, I will teach what I schedule, but I can teach something else. Some variations, I can help people with specific questions. It's not kind of mandatory to teach only what is scheduled. I can change a little bit. It's not, and I'm too hard in this way. You know, so
Mm-hmm. Ah, that's
but I
cool.
plan in the class in advance. What I'm gonna do. So I have my instructors working with me. So I'm not teaching all classes, but I kind of supervising everything, and my instructors, all of them, they're my students for a long time, my black belts. So my instructors, they have, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, you know, so some of them 5 degrees. So they advanced black belts. So they know a lot of jiu-jitsu. I just kind of give directions, and I write down the curriculum, what I'm gonna do. So
Mm-hmm.
but it's more or less like that. We have a schedule, but it can make it flexible.
Mm-hmm. Ah, that's awesome. And Messi, being so, so well accomplishment in so many different areas of jiu-jitsu, so gi, no gi, MMA. So you're one of the greatest complete athlete. How do you see this progression? Are you happy with what we are, which direction jiu-jitsu is going now? So what's your opinion about the jiu-jitsu sport right now?
I believe jiu-jitsu grew a lot around the world. The International Federation is doing a great job to help spread jiu-jitsu. So competitions all over the world with our rules. So there are different associations that have making a good job as well from Abu Dhabi associations. The tournament is the rules are a little bit different, but it's the same sport. They do a great job. So I think jiu-jitsu in the right way, developing all over the world. People I had teaching in countries that I couldn't, in places in the world that I couldn't expect I will be some time ago. So, and people always digging for, informations about Jiu-Jitsu. Uh, so I have been in many countries, many academies around the world, and see people from different martial arts. So looking for information about Jiu-Jitsu, you can see in the mixed martial arts world, all big names, they have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. So everybody looking for Jiu-Jitsu information. So Jiu-Jitsu grew a lot, and I believe we're gonna grow. We're gonna grow more. We're gonna keep growing around the world. So, and I hope someday you're gonna be in the Olympic Games. Maybe we'll see it happen someday.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Mestre Murilo, what has been the highlight? What was the most special moment on your career? Something, it's always it's always, when you're in maybe not in a good mindset. Sometimes you like to review that and on your mind to keep you motivated. What was the highlight for you?
It's hard to pick only one. Uh, Only one situation, only one fight. I think I had a lot of, I have I mean, a lot of things happen in my career. So I have
Mm-hmm.
different times, different phases, a lot of good fights. So each one of them, their own story. So all challenge that I put myself, there is this interesting story. Uh, but I think the long journey, that make me happy, make me be able to achieve what I want to do. Uh, Being a sportsman, I'm very proud of my career because of some the way I take it. So I was the kind of person that are very fair, very serious on my profession. I never did any kind of cheat for competing for win competitions. Kind of, I never took any kind of steroids or did anything that could uh, cheat some way. So, and I was looking for meet on the mat, on the cage, or on the ring, the best of my times. So I was, I fought the best of my time. So I kind of, a lot of times I have to, uh, for some situations, I have to overcome in some, hard situations. And I was able to do it. So I'm proud of that. And, so fighting the best of my times it wasn't easy, but it made me stronger. So each fight is stepping to fight a good fighter for the next fight. It would make me it made me stronger, and my mind. So I mean, not only the body, but the mind is very important. How to to deal with your mind, because jiu-jitsu is a sport that demands a lot of concentration. Vale tudo in mixed martial arts is more mental than anything. So it's something that you have to deal well inside your mind. You have to deal with your fears and insecures, and you must get over everything to be able to do your thing at the right time. So, and I think I did it well. I think I mean, I am happy what I did. For me, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the best I could. I win most of the time, lost some fights, but you know, in the end, was a good journey.
Yeah, and we are all happy for you as well, for sure.
Thank you, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
for sure. And so, Messi, I'm not, something one when I think about you as well, with all your career, one of the things we cannot forget, it's about your fight at the UFC with Matt Landland. I think that was something so it was those type of things. It was a bad thing happens for a good reason, because you was be able to submit someone twice in a fight. How's that even possible, right? What was going on through your mind? And after that, I'm curious, did the referee apologize to you, said anything to you about that? So can you remind us about that situation, please?
Yes. So before that, let me give me a hi for some friends that are here. César Leal, Babu,
Yeah.
grande Babu, saudade tua, meu querido. Léo Leite, tá aí também. Grande Matraca, Felipe Elias, valeu, galera. Some people, some friends
Hey
from
Diogo,
Brazil,
hey Diogo, he
Albertinho.
came here as well, Mestre. Hey Diogo,
Hey
it's there.
Diogo, Paulinho Garrafa,
Yeah.
nice. A lot of nice people. Pimentel, I don't know if they're still here because sometimes they just get in, say hi, and get out. But other than that, it's nice to see people, nice people around.
Yes.
So anyway.
And for all the people in New Zealand and Australia as well, it's watching us at the moment.
Oh,
All my
nice.
students from New Zealand, Australia,
Nice,
yeah,
nice,
please.
nice. I miss Australia. Australia is an amazing country. So, Patrick Bevan, hello, my friend. So, Baianinho da Nobre Arte. Man, it's 18 years old. This fight, it was May 10th, I think so, or 11th, 2002. So is doing 18 years old now, this fight. So, yeah, it was that's what I said, I had to overcame some challenges in my life. It was one of the biggest mental challenge that I had against Matt Linden when the referee stopped the fight after I submit him. I mean, I caught, I caught him the armbar, and the arm was under control. I was about to, I don't know if he tapped or not. It's up to him. It's up to the referee. I don't stop because people tap. Only tap clearly the way he did. I couldn't see, but the referee stopped the fight, and I just obeyed. And I released the arm, and then he got confused. The opponent said he didn't tap, and the referee got confused, and then stand up the fight. Stand up myself, and my opponent and restart the fight. And I had to fight, I had to fight. So I lost my focus a little bit, my concentration for the first, in the first round. So the second round, I returned a little bit better, but take longer to be completely focused again. So it was something that wasn't easy, but proved to me that I was able to deal with something really hard, because it was a mental challenge, completely mental challenge, because if I lose completely my focus, I wouldn't be able to keep fighting, because my opponent, after the situation, he was fighting hard. He didn't lose he didn't lose his focus. I did for a while, but if I did more, if I kind of lose more for longer, or, completely lost my, I lost, if I completely lost my focus, my concentration, I would be beaten. So I didn't, so I could get over, and keep fighting, and then thanks God I won the fight in the end. But it was a mistake. I don't think Big John did it on purpose. I think he got confused, and he trusted the opponent when he said he didn't tap. But thanks God I won the fight. Thanks for everybody involved, for UFC, for the referee, for myself, because it would be really unfair if I lose the fight, But because was a tough fight. The guy was, you know, uh, he was a very tough fight. He didn't lose any fight till there. So, uh, guy was, you know, silver medalist in Olympic Games in world, you know, in the worlds of Greco-Roman. Was a great athlete, great fighter. So it wouldn't be easy, and it was easier than I thought. So, but unfortunately, uh, I couldn't, you know, win the first situation. But as you said, you know, it was a challenge that I could get over and prove to myself that I could deal with this kind of situation, the mental situation, you know. So the most important. And after that, made me stronger again. So was that.
Hmm. That's amazing. And Mestre Murilo, and during the training, so you come from a generation, it's kind of have the five-star generation, in jiu-jitsu, because it was such a strong team with so many good names, and so many strong people trained, under really strong leadership as well, was Carson Grace. Can you just give an idea for the people who's listening to us right now, how was the training back then, under earlier Carson?
So it was very strong, you know. The sessions was very very hard, you know. We training a lot and with good partners. So I kind of uh, passed by very, you know, a lot of generations in Carson. I started training 77. But then when I was a teenager, around 16 to 70 years old, I was already training with, you know, adults, people older than me. And then I, you know, I met the older generation than mine, the guy that was already graduated. But because I was, you know, I was born and raised in the academy. I mean, I was, you know, my brother's training there, so I know everybody there, and the guys kind of adopted me as a kid, and they trained with me a lot. So then I used to train with tough guys since I was a teenager, and kind of mold my way to deal with sparrings. Kind of, don't I, you know, I didn't used to get bored, you know, bother to be smashed, so it was fun. So then I used to, you know, to train in the sense that this generation was guys like Otávio Peixoto, Pinduca, Fernando Pinduca, uh, Carlos Rosado, the guys that now they, you know, they older than me, like, you know, the red belt of Carson, some of them uh, red and white, one of them 9 degree, one of them 8 degree, one of them 7 degree, but they older than me, and you know they were better than me. So and then from there, I passed by different generations, you know, and then I trained with the different guys from my time, you know. In the end, was sparring was guys like, you know, Ricardo Liborio, Zé Maris Perry, and you know many others like the same level. It was, you know, Clovis Silva, who else? Sérgio Souza, Bolão, and many other guys that were, you know, very good fighters and players. I mean, you know. So I mean, the whole time since I was a kid till the last years in Carson, the training was always hard, but was always nice because was a fair training. Like we training hard, but we were partners, we were friends. People don't used to hurt each other, you know. So it was something that we were kind of. I mean, we were concerned about to make our partners better. So teaching them. You know, one guy that I forgot was Amaury Bitetti, that was my partner in black belt for a long time, competing together in categoria, in division and open class. We kind of won
Yeah.
a lot of tournaments together, you know, closing the bracket, me and Amaury. But we train together, training hard. Doesn't matter who win or lose. You were trying to make, you know, our friends, our partners better. You know, people training and teaching each other. So it was super cool.
Hmm. That's awesome. And Messi, who during this time, who was an inspiration for you? Someone you used to look up and said, "Wow, I want to get my technique to this level." Did you had someone to inspire you? Who was this person, or even more than one?
On my academy, you know, I look up to the guys when I was younger. I look up the guys like Otávio Peixoto, Fernando Pinduca, Carlos Rosado. You know, getting older, I kind of look up from the guys that was, you know, better than me. And but I always have a, how can I say, look up of some of the guys from outside my academy. Was Hickson. Hickson was the one that you look up, you know, to him like he was the best of the time. And I was always watching his fights and trying to learn how he moves, you know, what he does better, and you know. So, but Carson was my whole model. Was the one that I kind of tried to follow the path. You know, outside the academy was Hickson, inside my academy was Carson, and when I was younger was the oldest, uh, more graduated guys in the academy. But and then finally I got on top. So then I kind of, you know, I was the best of my academy together with my partners, a kind of team that everybody was very good. Depending of the day, you know, the one will be the one of the us will be the best of the day or the best of the tournament. So kind of changing. So then it was interesting because you're always training hard, competing hard, but all of us was able to be the best depending of the day, you know, the training. So, but always good partner to train in classroom school.
Hmm.
And then later in
I can
Brazilian top
imagine.
team, yes. And then later in Brazilian top team, you know.
Mm.
So then the youngest generation was coming, like bringing Ricardo Arona, Paulo Filho, you know, the guys younger than us, but you know, coming on top and make our lives harder. Because they come with a lot of appetite and you know, and a lot of skills, a lot of endurance, stamina, and willing to be the best.
Hmm.
So
That's awesome. So Messi, during your time of Carson, who was the guy, kind of your training partner was kind of, iron sharp iron, the one who was pushing you to the limit and, was kind of give you a really, really hard time. Someone you used to like to train more often. Do you have someone in special?
no, everybody there, you know, depend of the day. So everybody there was a tough
Mm,
training, you know. So if you pick a black belt, a competitor black belt in Carson, it'll be a hard time. That doesn't matter
yeah.
the region, you know. I used to train a lot with Ricardo de la Riva. It was lighter than me. It was super good, you know, super technical guy with training. You know, was always the training was very even, like you know. I trained a lot with Ricardo de Borges, Amaris Perry, Sérgio Souza, you know, Valide Ismail, and who else? Clovis Silva, and you know, it doesn't matter. You know, some days you're good, some days you're not that good. So depending, but every day the training will be hard. If you pick Amaury Bitetti, you know, if you pick one of them, you're gonna have a hard time. So
Yeah.
never was wasn't easy at all. It was never easy day.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. And so, Messi, what's your what's your criteria? What do you think the basic lines, the guidelines to become a good black belt?
I think you must, first of all, love what you do the best you can, and dedicated. You have to study, you have to dig, you have to train hard. If you want to compete, you can be a good black belt and not a competitor. Uh, but depending what you want to do. To be a competitor, you have to train hard, prepare yourself, prepare your mind, and have a good strategy. If you have a good master, a good coach, it will help you a lot. If you just want to train for fun, to be a black belt, don't need to be a competitor. But anyway, I always focus in do the best, uh, the best I could to make the technique, to apply the technique in the best way. I mean, I focus with the techniques of Jiu-Jitsu, with the skills of Jiu-Jitsu, you know. I mean, with my skills to apply Jiu-Jitsu the best way, you know. So instead to concern about physical positions like spend strength, I kind of concern to save my strength and play Jiu-Jitsu uh, the best I could without using strength. So one thing that I used to do a lot, uh, especially when I was on top of the black belt division, I used to train longer, like 1 hour. So picking the hardest training possible on the academy, the training with the black belts and training tired. So in the end, like after 50 minutes, I kind of invite a fresh, good black belt to training. So then I will have a very hard time, and then I have no strength at all to apply. It will make me use the best of could my skills to save myself. So I will have time to think. I will have strength to spend. So it'll be the hardest possible sparring. So then I must help myself with the pure jiu-jitsu. So then that's my thought. So this kind of training teach you the best jiu-jitsu. This kind of training make yourself humble. So because you're gonna tap, if you don't want to tap, you know, better don't train jiu-jitsu. But when you're good, when you're competing well, with the best, one of the best in the academy, you tap less, you know. But tap is good, tap is good, make you smarter, make you humble. So when I wasn't tapping, kind of, I was one of the best in the academy on my time. I kind of make myself tap. I kind of choose the guys to smash me when I was already tired. So then make me stronger when I was competing. Nothing could be worse than that. You know. So this is a good advice for people that want to compete.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And Messi, what's the names now you're preparing for the future with the Brazilian top team?
So we have a Brazilian Top Team is a big association. Have academies
Mm-hmm.
in many countries. So have talents, different, in all schools. In my school in Rio, I have been working young fighters, MMA fighters, that have been doing a great job. Starting, we kind of build the team from the amateur. Now they became professionals, so they're doing a great job. So some of them are 5-0, some of them 3-0. So they growing a lot. So, but I'm not working that much with professionals. I kind of helping the team, but one of my students, I kind of put one of my students to teach, to coaching the professionals. and I helping more nowadays. I teaching more kids classes and younger beginners. So I'm not working that much with competitors or with MMA competitors, jiu-jitsu competitors, MMA competitors. I kind of concerning more about work with the to the younger people, youngest people and kids, beginners, kind of to build from the beginning, and managing the team. So that's my goal right now. I've been working with the
Mm-hmm.
competitors my whole life, and I've been
Yeah.
coaching MMA for my whole. Well, I on the side I was a competitor, but on the side I was a coach as well, and I was taught to be a coach. So then
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this for a long time, so I kind of had a break to change a little bit the direction, but probably gonna return soon. So
Mm-hmm.
right now I kind of concerned to teach, the kids classes and beginners, manage the business and manage my association, so Brazilian Top Team Association. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And Messi, what do you have a recognition of one of the best advices did you receive during your career from your coaches or from your training partner? Do you have a memory of a strong advice that has had made you change something on your mind?
Uh, Man, I've been receiving advice when I was younger, uh, but you know, the focus, putting everything together. I don't remember who said what. No, this is for a long time. But putting together, the advices would be like, do your best in the homework. If you want to be a competitor, I mean, you must do your best in the homework and do your best during the competition. Doesn't matter which kind of competition, but don't concern too much about to win. Concern more about the performing. About to do your best. I mean, if you want to win too much, you're gonna be afraid to lose. And if you're afraid to lose, you won't perform well. You won't risk. You won't. You must trust yourself. Put in the God's hands and do your thing. You know. So jiu-jitsu is a little bit more uh, strategy. Have to use a lot of strategy, uh, but you must prepare yourself before step on the mat. I mean, uh, you can't think that much because if you think that much, you'll be late. So, and when you concern that you want to win, but you don't want to lose, you're gonna think that much during the competition, during the fight, and then you're gonna be always late. When you to do something already past, boom, you just have seconds to apply takedowns, positions, etc. So you just have to prepare yourself to do your thing. Train well, make the homework. Prepare yourself, prepare your mind, prepare your body, physical training, everything you have to do. Mental training, whatever you want to do. I used to do yoga. Yoga helped me a lot to compete and to, you know, to keep my
Mm-hmm. Good.
concentration. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
but during the competition, the most important is you kind of focus in the job, what I have to do, focus in the strategy, and just go through, do your thing. You know, if you if you
Mm-hmm.
if you think that much, you'll be late.
Yeah,
Don't be able to apply.
that's awesome. And Mass, just to for for the average person or for the ones who are not competitors but it's training. You start training right now as a white belt. We know them. Lots of people quit kind of that blue belt stage. First, why do you think this happened, and which advice you'd give for someone who's on the beginning of this journey and understand they're gonna have some injuries, they're gonna hit some plateaus, and all those things. So something you experience over and over and over again from those years. What do you have to say for those people?
For beginners, what I have been doing with beginners in my academy, I kind of teach them a lot of classes before put them to sparring. So I kind of prepare them very well, and then I let them sparring with the black belts, but not ordinary sparring with people in general, with students. So I kind of prepare my beginners. Then when they're gonna roll, they be able to roll. They don't get hurt. They don't hurt everybody. Somebody, I mean, they know because sometimes they don't know how to move. They moving wrong and kind of hurt somebody with the elbows or knees because they don't know, how to deal with their own body during the sparring training. So, but advice for them is listen to coaches, you know, and don't try to compensate the lack of skills, the lack of techniques, the know of techniques with the strength. So try to apply jiu-jitsu the last strength possible because it's natural in the beginning. The student try to do everything they could, apply the most strength possible. Then the strength gonna compensate the lack of the skills, the lack of techniques that they know. But there is a false impression that they're doing good. So, but if they kind of try to don't use that too much strength, they're gonna learn faster because they're gonna concern more about how to apply the positions, how to apply the jiu-jitsu. They're gonna learn
Mm-hmm.
faster, 100%.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So, Mestre, what are your thoughts now? What's your message? For especially for people in Brazil, who is going through this hard time right now. And what are your expectation? Do you think we're gonna get out of all this quarantine we are all experiencing right now?
Everything's gonna pass. So we're living the hardest, probably one of the hardest time in our lives. Uh, have to do your part. Uh, I'm staying home already for 2 months with my family, leaving for to do the necessary what I have to do. But it's I have to do your part, and everything gonna pass. And something that Jiu-Jitsu gave me is a lot of faith. So I believe a lot. I'm a believer, and I believe that you're gonna pass, and it will be okay. But I have to do your part. So some people don't believe that about the contamination. They go to the streets, they go hang out or do whatever they want to do. They make the streets full of people, and the contamination go faster. What happens? The hospital, the health system, the hospital, the cannot handle too much people because a lot of people sick in the same during the same time. The hospitals cannot handle too much people in the emergencies. So some people gonna have problems. A lot of people dying because too much people getting sick in the same during the same time. So I believe we have to do our part the best I can. But I believe we're gonna pass, and we're gonna return to our routine pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Mestre. Just to finish it, can you please what's your routine? So what's your daily routine with exercise, with what's your normally day looks like?
In the quarantine or before the quarantine?
Both. What has been changed? Okay, so that's even better. What was before and during the quarantine?
So before I used to train jiu-jitsu 3, 4, 5 days a week, depending of my will, of my body. But I kind of training uh, every day something. I exercise my body every day. So sometimes I go swimming, sometimes I go surf, sometimes I, do bike. I try to, boxing. Sometimes I do boxing. Uh, Depends of my will. So, but I'm training every week at least 3 times a week, at the most 5 times a week. Jiu-jitsu, I mean, rolling with my students, private classes, private students, or during the classes, whatever. Now during the quarantine, I have a bike in home, so I doing bike, I running sometimes on the street. I doing classes online. With my Brazilian top team, we're teaching classes online a lot in Instagram and Zoom. So I doing classes with my instructors. I teaching classes for the kids now. So and I'm working home, so home office. But not have to make your mind busy, because if not, you got crazy.
Yes, yeah. Ah, that's awesome. Oh, Messi, someone asked here, who was best in surf? It was Arona or yourself?
I don't know
Who
have been
catch the better
surfing.
wave?
I don't know have been surfing more than me, because he's living, in front of the the Itacoatiara. Is a very nice spot in Niterói, the city next to mine
Uh,
here. But if I'm training, I can go better than him for sure.
yeah. That's awesome. Man, so again, thank you so much for your time. That was a honor to talk to you. I'm pretty sure, all my students now and everyone who's was watching this, it's buzzing right now from the energy, from the stories. Yeah, you're the ultimate idol. Yeah, I really enjoy every single, stage of your career, and has been an inspiration for myself and for so many others. So thank you so much. And I hope one day, I can bring you to New Zealand to do a seminar and to show the place around, and maybe you can catch some waves here as well, for sure. We're gonna organize that as soon as everything goes back to the normal. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I hope people like it. People that watching here or gonna watch later. So, and I hope visit some academy. It'll be awesome. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, thank you so much. See ya.
You take care.
Obrigado.